All right, so it is 1 o'clock on the dot. So I want to welcome all of you guys to our Valentine's Day focused webinar. And I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that if you are here, you are planning on, or at least thinking of doing a 2020 Valentine's Day campaign. Oops, sorry, I just wanna make sure I was recording for today. What I'm hoping to leave this webinar with is that you'll have more knowledge of how you'll accomplish the campaign and have a little more inspiration on what you want your video to look like, your audience to look like, all of that good stuff. But let's start with some introductions. For those of you I haven't met, my name is Delaney Strittmatter. I'm a customer success manager here at ThankView. And I've been with ThankView for almost 2 years now, and I've loved learning more and more about the donor relations realm, something I knew absolutely nothing about before I started. And a lot of information taken for this webinar is from our partners that we work with, and from Lindsay Roth, who is Director of Direct Marketing and Participation at Brandeis University. Before we want to get into our agenda today, I do want to mention some of the resources that we have. We have a Facebook and LinkedIn community group, and if I'm being honest, the Facebook group is a little more poppin' than our LinkedIn group. I think everyone wants to be a little more buttoned up on LinkedIn, but if you're not so worried about that, please join both or choose which group you'd like to be a part of. We're always posting in those. It's a great place to post questions, post some of your great campaigns that you're really proud of and want to share. It's a great resource for you guys. We also have a blog. We post partner examples there, subject line tips, webinar recaps, you name it. It's a really great place to check out some more ideas. And then finally on this list, we have a YouTube channel, and the recording of this webinar will be there along with all of our webinars from 2019. So if you're a new client, make sure to go back and check those out, see what you might have missed last year. And then finally, there is one very important thing I want to mention before we jump into today's agenda. And you might have been seeing posts or emails from us about this, but this is the ThankView Awards. It's our very first ThankView Awards, something we decided to start because we saw some really amazing videos from our partners and wanted to recognize your hard work and your creativity in a really weird way. So of course we were going to do an Oscar-like style event. And we had nominations open back in December, not knowing really what the reaction was going to be like. And we were just astonished. We had over 100 video submissions. So you guys sent us some really great stuff. Our team narrowed down the categories. All that to say, the voting is now open for the winners. I'll link to that page in a follow-up email so you can go through, watch all those videos. And please feel free to forward that link to your team members, to your friends, to your families, to your nemesis, share it on social, rack up as many votes as possible for those videos that are your favorites in each of those categories. I don't want to spoil too much if you haven't already seen these videos, but there is one of kittens dressed up for Thanksgiving dinner. So you definitely want to go check those out and see all of the different videos that we have for those. Now, let's move on to see what we're going to accomplish in today's webinar, focusing mostly on that Valentine's Day campaign. We're going to take a look at some of the most common promotions for Valentine's Day campaigns that we've seen not only for ThankView campaigns, but also on social media as well. Then we'll look into some more untapped opportunities if you're looking for something a little bit out of the ordinary for your next 2020 Valentine's Day campaign. Moving from there, we'll take a look at what kinds of audiences are best to send Valentine's Day campaigns to, and spoiler alert, it's pretty much everyone, but we'll unpack that just a little bit more. And then finally, we'll go through some video examples. And if you have any questions at any point during the webinar, feel free to drop those in the chat box or in the Q&A box. Either one of those we will get to at the end of the webinar. I am going to save all of those for the end, just to make sure we have time to go through all the slides, watch all of the videos, but I am more than happy to go back to a slide, rewatch a clip, whatever is helpful for you guys. With all that being said, let's go ahead and get started. Some of the most common promotions for Valentine's Day campaigns. And I want to emphasize first that common is not a dirty word here, especially if this is your first Valentine's Day campaign that your team is trying, or it's the first in a few years. These are really great campaign templates to work off of. And the first one here is for if you are a college or university, sending a thank you video to married couples, especially couples who met and fell in love on your campus. This is a really great holiday to remind them about how you played a role in their romance. A big thing to keep in mind for this kind of campaign is to make sure that you have great data. This one will take maybe one, maybe several conversations with your data person to make sure names, emails, and information for that is up to date. It's a tricky one because you don't want to send a message to couples who may be divorced. Definitely don't want to remind them of that on Valentine's Day, but it is a really great touch point. If this is information you have, really great influential couples on your campus that met there, reaching out to them on this special day. The second type of campaign here is a little less targeted. So if it's data is not strong enough, for that first type, it's a little less feasible for your organization, I highly recommend this second option here, sending your donors love notes. This kind of campaign can be sent to all donors, and it's always going to be appreciated to send a thank you note. And if you are sending this to all donors from the past year, we recommend segmenting as much as possible. Do they give on a specific giving day to a specific department? Making sure that the subject line for their thank you is something really relevant as much as possible to the gift that they gave. It's really going to help with those open rates and getting those click-through rates to the landing page as well. And sending Valentines to donors is just another great touch point, especially if your fiscal year end is coming up end of May, for you to interact with another communication piece that's not an ask yet. This is just another great thank you point to reach out. This video can be really heartfelt and lighthearted, doesn't have to be very serious, and it can be as simple as filming directly from your webcam. And we're going to take a look at an example specifically of a webcam video later on in the webinar here. And if you're looking to focus on solicitation for Valentine's Day, there are some really great ways to do this. We're going to take a look at a video example from Sonderlust later on, but there are things that they did really well in their video that I want to point out here, and I'll mention again before we watch it. The first thing that they did was point out what the donation was going towards. They were as specific as possible. Second, they gave a deadline to give. For them, it was donate by February 14th. So this was something that went out a few weeks before Valentine's Day. And third, there was a simple reward for any donation of $14. And I'll let the video explain, but it was just very cute, very sweet, and giving a little more incentive to maybe up the gift that might have been $5 to $15 just to get that special gift. Now let's look into some more untapped opportunities, what that looks like for a Valentine's Day campaign. The first one here is Galentine's Day, which has only grown in popularity year after year. It started from a sitcom, Parks and Rec. It was Leslie Knope's fake holiday that has actually grown into a national phenomenon. And this means you can really tap into a popular holiday that's kind of on the rise and show some of the amazing things that your organization is doing to promote women's studies, women's athletics. Galentine's Day is just about women, celebrating women, so you can really reach out to your female donors and just talk about the amazing things that you're doing specifically for women on that day. And we have one Galentine's Day video example. We'll see that later on, but I would love to see more of these, really. even just from our ThankView stats. Right now, sending a Galentine's Day video would really set you apart from other organizations who might not even be trying Valentine's Day videos. Now, the second option listed here, if you're not already doing this, starting a loyalty program, giving some extra perks, a little extra love for those who support you year after year. And then this is a really great time to educate, setting up a table on campus if you're a college or university, or within your office if you're a K-12 or a nonprofit, and really showing your staff and your students what the impact of donor support looks like, having those stats readily available, and then maybe also having a booth set up for everyone you talk to record a little quick thank you, maybe a personalized one, maybe just a generic thank you that you can combine into one huge Valentine's Day video. So get crazy with the balloons and the hearts and flowers, and just making that video just a really great generic thank you to all donors. And I want to point out, the first one on here is swag, giving a little incentive to give before Valentine's Day here, or before the end of February. Just a little bit of swag goes a long way. People love their pins and their t-shirts. Asking people, the second point here is asking people to share their favorite memories from your organization. Now, if you're a nonprofit, a university, a hospital, any kind of organization, definitely make sure you're taking advantage of the ThankView's video request feature here. You can actually request videos from a large pool of recipients, and their videos will be saved automatically in your video library. And if you're interested in using their responses specifically for a Valentine's Day video, which is why we're here, I would highly recommend getting those video requests out this week or ASAP. You want to give them a deadline, but you also want to give your recipients enough time to really craft a thoughtful response video. Similarly, you can collect thank you videos from your board members, from volunteers, from campus leadership, from scholarship recipients, all using that video request tool. And I'd say these last two campaigns types, they are less popular because of that extra step, sending that video request, getting those videos from the people that your organization is impacting, getting those videos, and then sending out that Valentine's Day campaign. But I would highly recommend putting in that extra step. This kind of campaign can make a really huge splash and be worth that extra effort. So when donors receive a thank you, when they see the Valentine's Day video, it's of the faces of students, of people that your organization is directly impacting. And that is so much more meaningful. Now let's take a look. We're going to do a little bit of review before we jump into those video examples. And this is what kinds of audiences that the Valentine's Day campaign can be sent to. Those are married alumni, loyal donors, students, women's causes for those Galentine's Day sends, as well as matching gifts for employees, unfulfilled pledges, sororities and Greek life, women's athletics, and as well as faculty and staff. So those are all the different kinds of Valentine's Day audiences, and kind of looking at this list, seeing what stands out to you guys, what might be lacking some communication, what group maybe you haven't reached out to the most in a while, what might really a Valentine's Day kind of spark for that audience. On this note, it's slightly related to audiences. I wanted to add a quick slide about any accompanying social media posts that you'll have with your ThankView Valentine's Day campaign. You can ask your most engaged social audience for contributions, making sure that you're tracking those stats if you're using a hashtag. You can also make the post interactive by asking questions like, what do you love most about your organization's name? And you'll definitely want to promote maybe those thank you videos that you've got for board members or volunteers. You can either retarget them to the same audience that you were sending the thank you to. That way it's really crossing their radar both in their inbox and whenever they're on social media. Or you can allow this to be an organic post. And if you are going the organic route, just make sure to ask your team to like and to share the post. That way it gets through the Facebook, the Instagram, Twitter algorithms, and that people actually get to see those. And you can share those stories live or go on Facebook or Instagram live as well. And finally, you can also host a limited time matching campaign. That's something you'll definitely want to keep live on Facebook or Instagram, keeping your feed up to date with those latest gifts throughout the day. Now, as promised, let's kind of jump into video examples, what it looks like, everything we just mentioned when you actually put that into practice and put that into a video. Let's first take a look at this is a thank you video from Girl Scouts of Greater Atlanta. They got flowers, balloons, they decked out the office, made sure it was well lit, and then they got to recording a genuine, no edits needed thank you video for their supporters. So let's take a look at that one.
I wanted to reach out and thank you from the bottom of my heart. What you've done for us has just been amazing, and I couldn't be any more grateful. On behalf of Girl Scouts of Greater Atlanta, thank you so much and happy Valentine's Day.
And this is great. Not a lot of description beneath the video. The video itself is really the treat in their inbox. It had a great open rate and just kind of a nice surprise in someone's inbox on Valentine's Day when maybe it's more filled with promotions. This was a great way to mix up how their inbox looked. Next, let's take a look at UMass Dartmouth's, and this was one of the few promised Galentine's videos. Like I mentioned, it's still a relatively new holiday, but if you want to be ahead of the curve, make sure to take some notes from this video. I think it would be a really great way to kind of mix up your communications this year. And what I really love about this example is it's right in that sweet spot of between 30 seconds to a minute long. So it just has a great content and a great length for that kind of video. From there, we're going to move into two different examples of couples that met at colleges and where they use their story, and it's just really great and really fun to watch. So let's take a look at this first one here. It is from the University of Tennessee.
I'm Brett.
Got crazy. There we go.
I'm Brett Aiken, and I played football up at the university here from 75 to 79. Graduated with a degree in history in 79.
I'm Mona Largent, and I graduated from Tennessee back in 1981 with a nutrition science degree. And I was also a member of the Sigma Kappa sorority. I moved to Houston, and over the years in Houston, I became involved in the University of Tennessee Houston chapter, which got me very involved with the university and coming back to all the Tennessee football games. And Brent and I met at a Big Orange tailgate last year.
Before the kickoff of the Bowling Green game. I was running a little late coming into the tailgate party, but I noticed her red hair, beautiful red hair, which makes for a great UT fan. And so we just started conversation. I Facebooked her during the game. She accepted. And we really, I think the first game that we connected was at the Georgia game. Yeah.
At the Georgia game, I came up with a friend. He was up with his son. We saw that we were both going to be up there, and he just reached out and asked me if I had been to the Tea Club, which he was a member of.
Which she responded that she had, but which I thought, oh no, what do I do from here? And she quickly added, but not with you. So that kind of set the stage.
Set the stage, and we went out to dinner after the game, after we won the Georgia game. And then our first real date was we came up to the South Carolina game together, and which we won too. And we're happy to say that all the games that we came up to, Tennessee won. So that's, you know, here we are. We went to the Outback Bowl, and we've just been together as much as possible to Tennessee games. We came up for the orange and white. I'm president of the Houston chapter down there, so they give me a lot of invitations, and we've been having a really good time, and now we got engaged
June 25th.
June 25th.
And so we're here to get our marriage license.
Got the big orange ring.
Got a big orange ring. We're getting married September 1st at the first game, the Appalachian State game, and the plan right now is to get married inside the stadium.
Awesome. And Noel, I want to point out this video was filmed, apparently they were there filming that video, but this is a really great use for the video request tool. If you're reaching alumni that you know are married, you know would make a great story for this, but they are far away, make sure to use that video request tool. They can film on their iPhone or their webcam, answer any questions that you put in that script for them, and easily get that video even though they might be across the country. Let's take another look at this type of video, Alumni Sweethearts from WUCU.
I'm Jason.
And I'm Bliss, and we're the Kirsches. Well, we actually met on the first day of school in English class, and we met outside in the hall, and then after that we were just friends.
We were friends. And then, but we never really like hung out on a daily basis until I think it was around right before core. It was like patho. That's kind of what brought us closer. And we started.
I didn't know what I was doing in that class, so I needed help. There wasn't like an exact moment, but I feel like the more we hung out, I just like felt really comfortable with him. Like it just like we just clicked well together, and like we're kind of opposite. So I feel like the bad things about him, I like bring out the good stuff, and then he brings out the good stuff in me. Just like he calms me down when I'm like too crazy or whatever. And then I make him a little crazy.
Yeah.
Well, we're having a baby.
Yeah.
We are 6 months along. It's a girl, and we can't wait for her to come.
Yeah.
Well, I was already a nursing assistant for like 2 years, and everybody just kept saying, just go back to school, go back to school. So then I was going to go and do the LVN and then the RN, and I was like, oh, that's just going to take way too long and too much time. So then I found West Coast, and it was like a fast track, which I'm very like, get it done, get it out of the way. It's a good fit for me.
I've done a lot of other stuff in my past, plumbing, electrician, military, sales. But the reason why I got into nursing is job stability. I like the fact that I get to help my patient. It is very challenging, but it's worth it.
I am like so proud of finishing and being where I am now.
Be proud that that's where you came from. I know when I talk to my bosses and stuff like that, there is a difference between, the school that I went to compared to the school that other people went to.
And this one had, I don't know if you noticed in the bottom left corner, there was a hashtag, that hashtag WCU Sweethearts. This was something that was promoted in email and social, and they were able to track that hashtag as well. So just a great way to incorporate this on several different channels for your Valentine's Day campaigns. And I did have one more example to go through. This one is from Sonderlust. I had mentioned earlier that they did a really great job asking for an appeal on this Galentine's Day video, and they were really great about setting a deadline, being specific about where those donations were going, and giving a little bit of an incentive to give. So let's check out those three things kind of coming together in this video.
Happy Galentine's Day, everybody! My name is Laura, and I'm here with Sonderlust. I am the Theater for Young People Director, and to kick off my new role, we are introducing Sonderlove, Galentine's Day for Sisters. Woohoo! What is that? Well, we are celebrating Galentine's Day, a day for ladies celebrating ladies, the day before Valentine's Day. We're doing that by raising money for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Kitchener-Waterloo. There are currently 81 little kids here in Waterloo who don't have a big brother or big sister to help them out. So we want to raise at least $81. So for the next 24 hours only, from today, Galentine's Day, to tomorrow, Valentine's Day, we want to raise as much money as we can for all of our little sisters. What's in it for you? A poem. Anyone who donates $14 or more before the 14th Valentine's Day will get a special poem of friendship written by me, a world-class poet. It could be a limerick, it could be an epic, it could be anything. I'm going crazy thinking about the ideas. You have 24 hours. Spread a little love, spread a little sisterhood. Let's get together and help out Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Waterloo. Sonderlust needs your help to spread the Sonder love this Galentine's Day.
I completely love this video. And that ends our examples. I do want to point out our few themes and envelopes that you can use for Valentine's Day and Galentine's Day. You can find these envelopes on the page of a campaign setup. You can slide through all of those thank you envelope templates, find your way to these. And if you have an available envelope in your subscription, we can add a customized Valentine's Day or Galentine's Day envelope to your portal. So reach out to your customer success manager, if that's me. Hi, happy to help. And you can also reach out to support@thankview.com for more info on that. Similarly, we have Valentine's Day themes. There's 2 different ones, and then a Galentine's Day theme as well. So it kind of spices up that video, especially if you are doing personalized webcam videos, giving it a little more polished introduction to that. With all that said, I can move into Q&A. We've gone through all of our info and examples, and I'm happy to answer any questions that might have come up throughout the webinar. All right, so I'm not seeing any coming in so far. I know if you still are typing, it takes a little bit longer than with just speaking on a microphone. But for those who don't have any questions, like I said, I will be sending a follow-up email with these examples, with the recording of the webinar, and the link to the Thank You Awards page. So make sure to check that out. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. All right, I see 2 in the Q&A box. Yeah, of course. So the first question here was the ideal length for the video. Typically, we recommend keeping that between 30 seconds to a minute long, only because we've looked at the metrics for all of the videos that we've sent through ThankView, and there is a pretty dramatic drop-off rate. People stop watching after that minute mark. So I would recommend, if possible, sometimes you have a lot of content to get through, but if possible, keeping it between 30 seconds to a minute long. Another question here, do you have any tips on getting people to realize their videos don't have to be perfect and that cell phone can be best? I'm trying to think right off the bat, especially if you're sending in a video request, you got a little bit of space to work with there. But I would say just letting them know that that's the kind of video you want. Make sure you're mentioning, like, if you have an iPhone, just record with that iPhone. Make sure it's horizontal so we don't have those black bars, but that's the kind of video that you want to see. So just making that clear in the video request instructions. And then if it's somebody in your organization that maybe you're trying to convince to, record some thank you videos, I am more than happy to send you some examples of really great, just webcam or iPhone videos with, just as an example to send them to be like, hey, these videos did really well, and I think we should do more things like this. And my email is actually on the screen. I believe my computer stopped sharing, but let me see if I can share that again so you have that information. There we go. So there's my email. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, to your customer success manager, and we're happy to provide some more, maybe more iPhone examples. Awesome. I hope that answers your questions. Those are the only 2 I've seen come in so far. So thank you guys so much for joining, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Feel free to reach out via email, via chat with any other questions that you have.